Yo, what's going on, everybody? Happy Thanksgiving. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's having a wonderful Thanksgiving so far. We got some great games today. Hopefully, obviously, anytime, you know, try to get all excited about these games, you never know what's going to happen. But on paper, these are three very interesting games. It doesn't always go that way on Thanksgiving. And Joe Burrow put it pretty perfectly, which I thought was very funny. And we're going to get to all these questions. But I don't know how many of you guys are on Twitter, but Joe Burrow in his press conference said what he remembers most about Thanksgiving is watching Matthew Stafford throw for 300 or 400 yards to Calvin Johnson and then losing the game, which is one, hilarious because it's true, and two, hilarious because that is exactly how Joe Burrow lives his life, right? He throws for 8 gazillion yards with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and just loses every game, right? So he's basically Matthew Stafford 2.0. But it's funny that obviously he's not thinking that. Just funny that he said that. So thank you guys all for stopping by. I hope you guys all have a great Thanksgiving. We're getting the super chats first, then the regular questions. The rankings will be out to anyone that's on Patreon shortly. I'm updating them as we speak. Happy Thanksgiving. 3-part question. Thank you, Steven. I appreciate you. Happy Thanksgiving. Josh Jacobs or Chase Brown. JT is my RB1, and my wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2 are CD and Nico. Do I start Chase Brown / Josh Jacobs over Diggs in the flex? Strange, Kincaid, or Schultz at tight end? Great question. I don't know if Kincaid is going to play. Kincaid Roto World. Nothing that I've read about Kincaid seems definitive yet. He didn't practice again on Wednesday. Obviously, it is just Wednesday. And it seems like the reporting this week has just been bad. I don't know how many of you guys are reading every single report that's up on Twitter, but it feels like we have significantly less information this week. And maybe that's just because it is Thanksgiving. Maybe that's why. Maybe I just don't remember from past years, but it is weird. I feel like normally we have some pretty distinctive information by now. But yeah, I'm going to lean with Kincaid being out. So we'll answer this question. So I would start Josh Jacobs or Chase Brown. I would play Chase Brown. I like both guys. I think Josh Jacobs, the reason why he's going to play is because he's healthy. I don't think there's any reason why the team would force him out there if he wasn't fully healthy, right? Based upon the production we saw of Emmanuel Wilson last week, there would be virtually no reason for them to just be like, fuck it, let's hand the ball to, Josh Jacobs a million times when he's banged up to get him potentially injured. So I would definitely go with Chase Brown. I feel good about him in Hampton, though. So I would start Chase Brown and Jacobs over Diggs. I love Stephon Diggs, and I have Stephon Diggs ranked very highly, but I'll keep it 100 with you. I don't think that Diggs feels all that safe. I think Diggs is a phenomenal player. I think if the team continued to use him how they should, he would be one of the best running backs in all of fantasy football. I said running back, receiver in fantasy football, but they just don't use him like that. So it's hard for me to truly bang the drum for him. So I'd rather play Josh Jacobs and Chase Brown over Diggs. And then for the tight end question, I would lean with Strange. I feel like Strange is a very safe floor. So I would go Chase Brown and Jacobs over Diggs and then Strange. What's up? What's up? Happy Thanksgiving, baby. Alex, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Need help with my flex? Justin Jefferson, Bucky, Emeka Egbuka, or Judkins? That's a great question. Now, based on what I have read about Bucky Irving, guys, anyone that has Bucky Irving, I would be nervous about Bucky Irving. Now, I'm not saying Bucky Irving's going to be a complete and utter bust. I do still have him ranked as a top 30 asset. But what I will tell you right now is, based on what I've read, they're saying it's going to be a lot like Chris Godwin in his first game back. And if you remember Chris Godwin's first game back, which was last week, he barely played, right? He didn't play all the snaps. So I think they're going to look to give him, it's going to be a bit of a tease, right? You're going to think, oh, I got Bucky Irving back. I'm excited for Bucky Irving, and I'm excited for Bucky Irving too, but I don't think they're going to go all in and just hand him the ball 7,000 times and give him that full workload that he had earlier on in the season. Now, even without a full workload, Bucky Irving is so good, he could take one of his carries directly to the crib, right? We all know that. I don't need to tell you how good Bucky Irving is. We all know how good he is. But that's just kind of my opinion on things. I would try to, if possible, stay away from Bucky this week. So gun to the head, I think I would go Judkins. Now, obviously, Justin Jefferson. Oh, man, it's so hard to sit Justin Jefferson, actually. so hard to sit Justin Jefferson. I think I would have to play Justin Jefferson, especially because JJ McCarthy isn't going to play. And I understand that their new quarterback, Bosmer, how the hell you pronounce his last name, he's not that good. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like he's a genius, the best quarterback ever. But in my opinion, I don't know how it could get so much worse than JJ McCarthy. I feel like he's going to realize, hey, maybe I should just throw the ball to Justin Jefferson 7,000 times. Justin Jefferson was speaking very highly of him in the press conference, which also tells me that maybe he's doing that to suck up to the guy so that he gets a million targets, and I think he will. I understand Justin Jefferson feels disgusting, but in the same token, he also is safe, right? While he might screw you over and not score the 20 points you're expecting out of him, he's still going to get you at least 10, and that can't be guaranteed for Bucky. I don't think that could be guaranteed with Emeka Egbuka based on the production that he has put up as of recently and based on the fact that we don't know if Baker... Oops, sorry for burping. I did not mean to do that on camera. If Bucky, I'm not Bucky, if Baker doesn't play, I apologize. So yeah, I would go Justin Jefferson. That would be my lean there. It's between Justin Jefferson and Judkins. I like Judkins a lot better now because of the fact that, they have Shedeur Sanders there and they're actually able to move the ball, but I think I would still go Justin Jefferson. Thank you for the super chat, Frank, as well. Stafford or Dak, and why? Great question. So this is one of those where it's basically a 50-50. And what I mean by that is you could basically just flip a coin, right? I have Stafford at 5, Dak at 6. Now, both of these guys are in matchups that are actually quite bad for quarterbacks, right? The Carolina Panthers are the 25th best matchup for quarterbacks on a per-game basis. That is who Matthew Stafford is playing. Dak Prescott is going up against the Kansas City Chiefs, the 22nd best matchup. The reason why I lean with Matthew Stafford is just because while Matthew Stafford's matchup is slightly worse against the 25th matchup versus the 22nd matchup, deep down, I just trust Stafford more. Why do I trust Stafford more? Because I know Stafford very well. I understand that Brock Purdy looked like an idiot. He looked like he had no business being on that field, right? He looked clueless last week, right? And I think that personally, Stafford is just 9,000 times better than Brock Purdy. There's a reason why there's talks of Stafford being the MVP. There's a reason why I think Stafford will win MVP. Now, obviously, I think if the NFL treated the MVP like the actual best player, I don't think he would win. I think the person that should win should be either JSN or Myles Garrett, but that's not how it works. It's the best quarterback award, and Stafford is the best quarterback. He hasn't turned the ball over. He hasn't thrown a pick since, I think, week 3 or 4. And Dak, I think he's playing so well, he's due to shit the bed. We kind of know how Dak works. Dak will be on top of the world, Kilimanjaro, bowling out, and then he has a terrible game, right? I feel like the terrible game is on the precipice of occurring. So I would go with Stafford. I just feel much safer with Stafford. It's nothing about Dak. If you have Dak Prescott and you have to play him, don't take this as Nick hates Dak Prescott. I'm playing Dak Prescott in my home league in a game that I need to win. So I will be rooting for him, but I just trust Stafford a gazillion times more. That's why I lean with Stafford. T-Man, yo, thank you for the super chat. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Nico, Shakir, Christian Watson, Gainwell. Great question. I am not sitting Nico Collins. It is that simple. I understand Nico Collins was dreadful last week, but that was a weird game, right? I don't think anyone would have expected. I don't even think Houston Texans fans would have expected the outcome that we witnessed in that matchup. And what I mean by that is I think basically everyone across America figured that the Buffalo Bills would be winning that game. And a lot of people may have even expected domination. They may have expected this game to be over before it even started, but instead it wasn't, right? It was not over before it even started. It wasn't even close to that. But at the end of the day, you have to play your studs. You are not sitting Nico Collins. So he's a start. And then I think I just have to go with Shakir because of the matchup up against the Steelers. The Steelers are one of the best matchups for wide receivers. It's the second best matchup. Now, I think Gainwell has earned more of a role in this offense than people are kind of giving him credit for. But at the same time, while I think he has earned that role, I don't think it is definitive enough to say that he's the RB1, because I still think Jalen Warren is. So while I like the upside of Christian Watson, and Christian Watson's kind of a guy that, regardless of the matchup, if he scored 2 touchdowns, would anyone be shocked? Like, is anyone going to be shocked? The answer would be no. But it's got to be Shakir. The matchup's too good, and you're not sitting Nico. Thank you, Force. I appreciate you, my man. Force calibration. My guy. Now, bro, moving forward, I need to know who to start out of Gainwell, Montgomery, or Hunt. But keep in mind, I cannot start Hunt today because I'll be sick if Hunt destroys my Cowboys, I guess. Okay. Well, in my opinion, you should be playing Kareem Hunt. It's a nice mental hedge on the game. You can root against your own fantasy player and root for your fantasy team. It's a nice, good feeling because, hey, guess what? Even if the Cowboys lose to the Chiefs and Hunt scores 2 touchdowns, at least you all have solace in that, right? At least you'll feel okay that happened. I know that sucks. That's a shitty thought process potentially, and I hate doing it too, but I think that's kind of the thought process you need to have, which is to try to win your week because look, Montgomery's a safe bet, right? Montgomery will get you 10 points. He could get you 12 points. And maybe if he has the big game, he'll get you 25 plus points. But Montgomery his floor just isn't the same as it used to be, right? Montgomery was basically a lock over the last few years to get you like 14 points on a bad day, right? He was just always going to produce. But now in the offense that they have there, it's just not the case as much. And that does suck. So if it's my team, I'm playing Kareem Hunt. I think rest of season, I still want Kareem Hunt because Kareem Hunt has the most upside just due to the fact that, Montgomery's just a safe play, right? You kind of just know what you're getting. You're going to get your 8 to 12 points, and that's it, right? I don't think anyone that is watching the games is ever expecting him to score a gazillion fantasy points. He just does not do that. So if it's my team, I'm playing Kareem Hunt, and moving forward, I prefer Kareem Hunt. But if you don't want to play Kareem Hunt, I get it. I would play Montgomery. That is my answer. And happy Thanksgiving to you. P-Ness, full PPR, 2 running backs, Bijan, Dowdle, Swift, Hampton, 2 wide receivers, Michael Wilson, Egbuka, Olave. I also need one of those at the flex, quarterback, Dimes or Brissett. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. The easiest question here is Brissett over Daniel Jones. I love Daniel Jones. This season, he has been incredible, but a lot of people were coming after me in the comment section. Nick, why don't you have Daniel Jones ranked higher? It's because he's playing up against the Houston Texans. We just saw the Houston Texans absolutely bend Josh Allen over a table. Okay. So while I do like the player himself, I do think Daniel Jones has been very good this season, and I'll give Daniel Jones the credit when the credit is earned, right? And he deserves all of the credit in the world. But in terms of actually hyping him up in a matchup like this, I think we are drastically overrating what Daniel Jones, or basically underrating, not overrating Daniel Jones, but underrating how good the Texans defense is. So it's definitely Brissett, top 12 quarterback in like 5 straight games. No problem, man. And then Bijan, Dowdle, Swift, Hampton. I'm going Bijan and Dowdle. I think that's kind of just a no-brainer over Swift and Hampton. I don't think Swift has necessarily lost his job to Kyle Monangai, but I also don't think that Kyle Monangai is going to just stop stealing the touchdowns. I think it's still going to keep happening. It's going to be very annoying. So I would go Bijan and Dowdle at wide receiver. I'm going to go Olave and Michael Wilson. And at the flex, I would go with Egbuka. Now, if Hampton was going to go out there and be at 100%, and we may know by Sunday what the answer to that is, because based on what I've read, based on what Harbaugh said, he says kind of can be like a 1-2 punch, which kind of tells me that they might not go all in with Omer and Hampton instantly, right? They might look to just ease him in a little bit and then eventually, give him the workload that, we kind of believe he deserves. So for that reason alone, I would have to sit him in your scenario. Again, everyone's scenario is different. But yes, I am a little bit concerned about Hampton. So I think the smart move is to play Bijan, Dowdle, Mike Wilson, Egbuka, and Olave. Happy Thanksgiving, and Jacoby Brissett. Thanks for the super chat. Close on. I appreciate you. May, Gibbs, Jacobs, George Pickens, Ladd, Flex Egbuka, Ferguson, Seattle Dicker, Seattle D. I don't know why the fuck, because I read D and then kicker, like Dicker the kicker. Seattle defense, kicker. And your bench is Dak. Your bench is Walker, Charbonnet, Jamo, Schultz. Any changes? Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Great question. All right. So the only change that you could make would be playing Kenneth Walker over Egbuka. I think May seems like the clear answer over Dak. Again, nothing wrong with Dak Prescott, so I don't want to come off. Again, I try not to come off as like a hater of any of these players because I think that would just be wrong. I've Drake May 4, Dak 6. So it's not like by a wide margin, but yes, I would lean with Drake May. I love Gibbs. I love Jacobs. Again, those guys are just must starts. You don't even have to think about it, right? You're just playing those guys. Ferguson over Schultz makes the most sense. Schultz, I definitely do think Schultz will bounce back, though, guys. So anyone that was like super panicking about Dalton Schultz last week and is just super worried rest of season, one game doesn't counteract what he's done this season, in my opinion. Now, obviously, you can be more nervous than you would have been, but I don't think it completely swings the pendulum away from Dalton Schultz. So I still like Dalton Schultz. So the only change I think I can make would be Walker over Egbuka. And I think even still, I would just chance Egbuka because Walker, again, I like Kenneth Walker. I think Kenneth Walker is a very talented running back. A lot of people tend to get mad at me in the summer when I talk negatively about Kenneth Walker because I don't think that Kenneth Walker is clearly the, lead back on the team. I do kind of have my worries about that. And I, kind of talk negatively about him, and then people get mad. It's not because I don't think Kenneth Walker is a good player. It's because of Zach Charbonnet. Zach Charbonnet screws everything up. So for me, I would prefer to go with Egbuka. So I would stick it how you got it. I think Jamo is also in consideration, but Jameson Williams just shit the bed last week in heroic fashion. So I would tend to lean with the lineup you got in. Happy Thanksgiving to you. I think your lineup is correct. Sidekick, thank you for the super chat. Sidekick Kid, thank you. I like your profile picture. Got Jaylen Warren at the flex. Debating on keeping him a swap with Franklin, Watson, Jamo, Dobbs, or Worthy. I might need help if Devonta is out. Great question. Yeah, Devonta Smith may miss. The good thing about Devonta Smith, though, is that he plays on Friday. So it's not one of those where you're waiting all weekend and you're stressing out until Sunday. You will know tomorrow. So in my opinion, if this is my team, I think I'm going to play Franklin. Troy Franklin has a good matchup. Troy Franklin has been very reliable. I think I would go Troy Franklin. Now, again, I like Jaylen Warren, but I think I trust Troy Franklin a little bit more given the scenario that Jaylen Warren is currently in, where he's not like the clear lead, the clear lead show there. So I would go with Franklin. And then if you end up seeing Devonta Smith miss, then you would just play Warren and Franklin. Because I would play Warren. Like today, Dobbs plays. I would have Warren over Dobbs. I would have Warren over Jamo. I would have Warren over Watson. I would have Warren over Worthy. The only guy that I actually have Warren below would be Franklin. So I would go Franklin over Warren. And then guess what? If Devonta Smith does not play, then you just put Jaylen Warren in. That's a great question, though. Thank you. Need a flex PPR. Devin Neal, Debo, Worthy, DJ Moore, Parker Washington. Great question. I think I would go with Devin Neal. Now, again, do I think Devin Neal is the safest bet out there? Of course not. No one should think that way. I don't think anyone that has seen the Saints offense operate this year would feel 100% about any player outside of, Chris Olave in that offense. And I think that's a proper breakdown of the team. But when we have Debo, look, Debo is going to probably score. He's going to fluke his way on into the end zone. But if he doesn't fluke his way on into the end zone, you are going to be so pissed that you played Debo. Brian Thomas Jr. may be back. Who knows what Parker Washington's role is in that scenario? DJ Moore, dude, he is so all over the place. DJ Moore typically plays good, then he plays bad, and he plays bad for a couple games. Then, right when you stop trusting him, right when you give up on DJ Moore, that's when he has the big game. Kind of like how we gave up on DJ Moore, and then last week he goes absolutely bananas. I think it will probably be the exact same thing this week. So I would go Devin Neal. I just trust him the most, even though that's crazy to say because I don't trust the Saints at all. I think he's a very safe option for Tyler Shuck to dump the ball off to. And that's going to lead to a boatload of targets. And when we expect a team to be losing, like the Saints, then you expect him to get a bunch of targets. So that would be my lean there. I would go with Devin Neal. Brissett or Knicks, Monty or Tracy, full PPR. Thank you. Great question. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. So, in my opinion, I'm definitely going Brissett over Knicks. I don't think by any means Knicks is a bad play. I have Knicks at 12. I just have Jacoby Brissett at 7. I talked about this in the video, and we kind of talked about this in the Discord as well. Bo Nix is the kind of guy where before the game, I forgot who said this. I wish I could give them credit. Someone before the game, someone on Discord said that before each game, Bo Nix basically flips a coin on if he's going to be Patrick Mahomes or Tua Tagovailoa. And that is the most true statement I have ever heard in my life. He either goes out there and looks amazing, or he goes out there and you wish you could go back in time and stop yourself from starting him. Whereas Jacoby Brissett's been a top 12 quarterback now in 6 straight games. Again, I don't want to glaze Jacoby Brissett because I don't truly actually think Jacoby Brissett is that good. Like, if I'm keeping it 100 with you, I don't think so. He's like pack-a-punched. I made this joke before. He's like pack-a-punch Geno Smith, but it just keeps working, right? And when it keeps working, you keep sticking with it. So while it does scare me deep down on Jacoby Brissett, I'm playing Jacoby Brissett. And then I feel way better about Brissett than I do about Knicks. And then Monty versus Tracy, I would go Tracy. Now, Tracy has a really bad matchup this week, but Tracy does have a solid floor of receptions. And ultimately, that is what swings the move for me. I don't mind David Montgomery, but again, he doesn't have the best matchup either. He's my RB29. Tyrone Tracy's my RB28 in full PPR. So again, it's not definitive like, oh man, I feel so much better about Tracy than I do without Tracy, right? But I think the smart move would be to go with Tracy over Monty. Monty, to me, he's not necessarily dead because I know a lot of you guys have to start him, but it's like, how do I paint a picture of this crazy upside for the guy at this point? How do you paint that picture? I find it hard to do. So I would go Brissett and Tracy. Play Chase Brown and Henry or swap one for Walker the third. Thank you, Dave, for your super chat. I would go with both Chase Brown and Henry. I expect Hunter Henry to continue to produce. Derrick Henry has been very, 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 very good since Lamar Jackson has came back. This is kind of a cliche that we say every single year, but it continues to be true. So I'm just going to continue to say it. Every single year, once it starts to get colder, once the months get longer, you start to see that Derrick Henry really, really, really takes over. And that's the time of the year that we are in right now, where Derrick Henry starts to become unstoppable. Derrick Henry was bad for large stretches of this season. I'm not going to argue with you about that because I believe that is true. But just because Kenneth Walker is, having a few good games, I like Kenneth Walker. He's fine to start. I prefer Chase Brown and Derrick Henry a million times over them. I have them ranked significantly higher than I have ranked Walker. So my lean would be to leave Chase Brown and Derrick Henry in your lineup. I think that is the smartest decision you can make. ETN, Hampton, Jalen Warren, Harvey, Hendo, Manungai, Rav. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. All right. 1 second. All right. ETN, Hampton, Jalen Warren, Harvey, Hendo, Manungai. That's a great question. That is a great question. That may be the greatest question. Oh. All right, so I would go ETN. You cannot sit ETN. ETN has been on fire. ETN is must start, in my opinion. Must start. Now, after ETN, I'm going Henderson. I understand Henderson wasn't as good last week. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and be like, oh, Henderson was so great last week. He was not as good, but he got the workload that we wanted. That's the most important thing. The most important thing wasn't necessarily the production. Obviously, the production helps you fucking win your fantasy game. I understand that. But ultimately, the fact that he saw that many touches was probably the most promising part of that game. So, in my opinion, I still think Henderson is that guy. I think it is possible that by season's end, they might ramp up Ramondre enough to where you just are so pissed off. But at the end of the day, I think the smart move would be to keep playing Henderson. He has looked so good this season when he's gotten the workload. I think he bounces back this week. And then I would go with Jaylen Warren strictly because the fact that, again, I worry about Hampton's workload. Monangai is just touchdown or bust. And Harvey, he's another guy that might end up getting vultured. I would prefer to go ETN, Jaylen Warren, and Travion Henderson. Thank you for the super chat. Sasha, I appreciate you. Hey, Nick, choose from Travion Henderson, RJ Harvey, and Javonte Williams. 2 spots, and Knicks or Burrow. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Thank you for the super chat. So, my opinion on Joe Burrow, some people were getting mad in the comment section because I said I think it's stupid for Joe Burrow to come back. I understand why some people think it's, the right move for Burrow to have came back. I don't know about that because I think the team's basically dead once they lose today. Makes no sense to risk his injury, but that's what they're electing to do. I have Burrow 11, Knicks 12. What I will tell you, if you want to be safe, you play Knicks. I would lean with Burrow. And then happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Choose from Travion Henderson, RJ Harvey, Javonte Williams. That's close. I would go Henderson for sure. It's close between Harvey and Javonte. I got Harvey 21, Javonte 20. Oh, man. It's tough because RJ Harvey is such a better matchup. I think I would lean RJ Harvey, honestly. So I would go RJ Harvey, and I would go Travion Henderson, and I would go with Joe Burrow. Thank you for the super chat. Your boy Dimes, thank you for the super chat. Start 3, bench 3, Walker, BTJ, Sutton, Hampton, Shakir Hunt, also Dak or Herbert. Thanks, no problem. I would go with Dak. I would go with Sutton, Walker, and Shakir. Sutton, Walker, and Shakir. Now, again, if I was 100% certain that Hampton was going to get his workload that we would want, if he's getting 70+% of the snaps, I'm going to sit here and give him the gawk 9,000 special, talk about how I love Hampton, but that's not the case. We don't know for sure. So I think it's the smart move is to just, press the brakes if you can on Hampton this week. Press the brakes on Bucky Irving this week if possible. It might not be possible for everyone, but we're just speaking in generalities here. So Sutton, while it may have appeared that he could have lost his job to Franklin as the clear number 1, it's a great matchup. He'll still be fine even if he is the number 2. Shakir has a great matchup against the Steelers. And Walker, while he is a little bit risky, I trust Walker more than I trust the other guys. I mean, maybe I would go Hunt over Walker. Yeah, I would. Okay, so we're going to go Hunt. We're going to go Shakir. And we're going to go Sutton. Lock that in. Sutton, Hunt, and Shakir. Thank you, JJJ, for the super chat. I appreciate you. This is from 1127. Thank you for the super chat. I got to find to see if you put a question underneath this. Thank you for the super chat. Diggs or Jennings? Great question. Diggs or Jennings? I would go Diggs. Again, I think Diggs is going to be very frustrating this year. A lot of people are going to be pissed off about Diggs because he is so up and down. Jennings does appear to be the clear wide receiver 1 on San Francisco, but I do think the upside of Diggs is just so much higher because, let's be real. When they get into the red zone, how often is the ball going to go to Jennings? Not the most often, right? More than likely, the ball is going to go to George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, right? He's much lower down the totem pole, whereas Diggs at least has big touchdown upside. So I would personally go Diggs. And then your second question, Purdy or Burrow, I would go Burrow. I think Purdy is going to be fine. So I think if anyone is overwhelmingly panicking about one game last week, I think you're really overreacting due to how good the Panthers defense has been, but I still think you would go Purdy. I still think you would go Burrow. So thank you for the super chat. Next question here from Lucero. Thank you for the super chat. Dowdle, Bucky, Hendo, pick 2. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Henderson and Rico. Now, Bucky, again, based on what they have said about Bucky Irving, how can you trust him? I think it's very hard to trust Bucky Irving. Do I think if you have to start Bucky Irving, you're completely screwed? No, but I think based on what we have read about Bucky Irving, it makes it very clear that they are not going to give him his true workload. Now, anything can change during the game. And what I mean by that is during the game, things might not go well. And they might shift things to go more his way if they're losing. Okay? I understand. But I think the smart move for the team would be to keep him safe. They should still make the playoffs as long as Baker is out a serious amount of time. So I would go Dowdle and Hendo. It seems like they really want to restrict Bucky's workload again. Do I think they should or shouldn't? It doesn't matter what I think. So I would go Dowdle and Henderson. Nick, thank you for the super chat. DeAndre Swift or Jameson Williams for the flex, full PPR. I would go JMO. I think DeAndre Swift is probably safer. Right? I don't expect DeAndre Swift to go bust and completely screw your fantasy team, right? DeAndre Swift doesn't really have the makings of a varsity athlete. I'm just kidding. He doesn't have the makings of a guy that's going to completely bust and be awful. So that is kind of how I think about this question, right? If you want to be safe, you play Swift because Swift, again, he's a very, very safe asset for your team. I would go JMO, though, just because I think the upside is way higher. Swift at this point doesn't feel like the kind of guy that's going to score a gazillion fantasy points, right? It just doesn't feel like that. One second. All right. So yeah, I would go JMO. I'm looking for more upside. Nick, thank you for the super chat. This is from 11:30. Walker or Hunt? Great question. I have them ranked in a very similar range. I have Hunt over Walker slightly. Hunt is very touchdown or bust, in my opinion. Pacheco is back. I still think Hunt will score. So I don't think that's necessarily something you need to worry a crazy amount about. But at the same time, I do think it is smart to play Hunt just because I think he's probably going to score. Like, it's just such an easy matchup for him to find the end zone that I would trust him the most. So I would lean with Kareem Hunt. Again, this is not a Nick hates Kenneth Walker because I do like Kenneth Walker. It's just, a weird scenario to be in. Really weird scenario where he just doesn't have any touchdown upside, really, to score like multiple touchdowns, whereas Hunt does. What up, Nick? What's up, Keflin TV? I appreciate you. I'm 6-6 in a 10-man PPR important week. Got to start 3. Adunze, Dowdle, Pittman, Judkins, Juwan Jennings. Thanks, man. Happy Turkey Day. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. That's okay. Just because you're 6-6, all hope is not lost yet, right? The only time you should ever lose hope in fantasy is when you look at your team and it says that you're eliminated from the playoffs, right? Until then, you just got to keep on fighting, keep on hoping that things will go your way and, the pendulum shifts your direction. So for me, I'm just trying to adjust all my lineups right now. Guess I'll play Shamir DK in this league. I would go ahead and play. Man, that's tough. I think I'm gonna go Dowdle. I don't think you can sit Dowdle. I understand Dowdle was very pissed off last week after that game against the 49ers. He even came out and said that he was pissed off because he thought if they gave him the ball more, they would have had a better opportunity to win, which I think basically anyone with a brain would agree with. That is very much the correct take. If they would have given him the ball, they probably would have won. Not won, but they would have had him been in a much better position to actually win the fucking game. I don't know what the fuck the game plan was there. That was stupid. But yeah, definitely gonna play Dowdle. Definitely got to play Pittman. I know the matchup is tough for Pittman, but Pittman to me is as close to like a must start as it gets. Pittman just continues to produce. I understand he's boomer bust, but the production has been there. So I'm going Pittman. I'm going Dowdle. And then I would go Judkins. I love Adunze. I am a big Adunze truther, and I do think Adunze will have bigger games ahead. But as of right now, I don't feel good at all about Adunze. So I would go Judkins, which hurts me to say, but I would go Judkins. I would go Judkins. So Judkins, Dowdle, Pittman. Thank you for the super chat. Danny, thank you for the super chat. Full PPR, and we're gonna have to go quicker, by the way. We're very much behind. Full PPR, choose 3, JSN, Igbuka, Rice, JJ. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. JSN and Rice are mortal locks of the century. You have to play them. Now, between Igbuka and Justin Jefferson is definitely a debate. I think it's impossible to sit Justin Jefferson because of the fact that he is Justin Jefferson. I know that might sound stupid to a lot of you guys, but it's true. It's going to be very hard for you to go to bed at night knowing you sat Justin Jefferson. Even with third string quarterback, Justin Jefferson could score 45 fantasy points. Now, I do have Igbuka ranked ahead of Justin Jefferson, so I would go with Igbuka, but I think it's hard to sit Justin Jefferson, but I would go with Igbuka just because Seattle's defense is so fucking good that, like, it is a new quarterback. He's probably going to struggle against Seattle. So I would go JSN, Igbuka, and Rashee Rice. Thanks for the super chat, Bill. Bill Nye, the science guy. Choose 2, PPR, Bucky, Igbuka, Michael Wilson. I would go Michael Wilson and Igbuka. Again, Bucky just kind of has to sit. It's nothing against Bucky. I don't want to come off as Nick is number 1 Bucky Irving hater, but we got to be real. Based on what they've said, they're not going to go full on in with Bucky Irving his first game back. They're not. They're not going to just give him a gazillion touches like you want out of him. So while I do think that Bucky Irving should get more of the touches, I don't necessarily think he will. So I think the smart move would be to go ahead and play Igbuka and Michael Wilson. Gobble gobble. What's up, K-Space? Thank you for the super chat. Pick one. Dobbs, Butte, Aaron Jones for the flex spot. I think I would go Dobbs. I get that, false prophet. But it's not like one of these scenarios with Omer and Hampton where we're kind of speculating, right? How many touches is he going to get? What are they going to look to do? Whereas with Bucky, they've already told us what they're going to do. Now, again, just because they want to go one way, they want to limit his touches, doesn't mean that they will. Or doesn't mean that they will for the whole game because, if things go awry, right? If things are not going well for them, they could easily pull the trigger on just inserting him in and giving him more touches. But I think they want to be safe with Bucky. I think that's the smart move. So that's kind of how I feel. I would go Dobbs. I love Kayshon Boutte. But does anyone actually feel good about Kayshon Boutte? No. And this should be a higher scoring game with the Lions and the Packers. So I think Dobbs should get a healthy workload. So I'd go Dobbs. Arav, again, thank you for the super chat. Drop Quentin Johnson, Jennings, Terry, Jaden Higgins on waivers for the playoffs. I think I would prefer to have Quentin Johnston over all of those guys. Again, I think Juwan Jennings will eventually get surpassed by Ricky. Like, I think this is Ricky's spot. So I think the smart move would be to just hold Quentin Johnston. I think even when Terry does return, how confident is anyone in Terry to put their playoff hopes into Terry's hands? Right? Because we are, in most leagues, 2 weeks away from the playoffs. You have this week and next week. I don't think Terry's playing this week. So if Terry plays next week, if you're in a potential position where you could make the playoffs, you could not make the playoffs, I think it would be basically impossible for me to actually have enough gonads to play Terry. Whereas I think even with the risk of Quentin Johnson, he is still startable. And I guess so is Juwan Jennings. So if you were going to drop QJ for anyone, it would be Juwan Jennings. But I would hold personally Quentin Johnson. Choose 2 PPR: Bucky, Michael Wilson, Devontae Smith, Ted. Ted is on my other team. Just asking question 2: is he an auto start? Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. I don't think, and thank you, Bill, again for the super chat. I don't necessarily think Tet is an auto start, just because it's hard to label anyone in a Bryce Young offense an auto start, right? Because you do know that you're bound to get a few games where Bryce Young looks absolutely atrocious, like last week. I do still think you are going to be playing Tetero, though, in this scenario. I would go Michael Wilson. Actually, I would go Devontae Smith, and I would go with Michael Wilson. Would I actually do that, though? Let's think. I have Tet. Okay, so I have Tet ranked 15 at wide receiver. I have Michael Wilson 17, Devontae Smith 19. So I would go with Tet, and I would go with Michael Wilson. That's how I would play things. Devontae Smith is also banged up going into the game, which is also just a bad indicator. So to me, I think that, again, Bucky, to me, in a scenario like this, I don't know why anyone would play Bucky in this type of scenario, right? Where you have so many other options, there's really no need to take the risk on Bucky. So I would go Michael Wilson and Tetero McMillan. Thank you for the super chat. Daniel, thank you for the super chat. Full PPR, wide receiver 2, Jennings or QJ. Also pick 3, Bucky, RJ Harvey, ETN, and Jaylen Warren. Have a happy Thanksgiving, brother. Blessing to you and yours. Thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone in chat. Obviously, I put a nice turkey on the thumbnail so that everyone would know it's Thanksgiving, of course, because we all know, no one's going to know that it was Thanksgiving unless I put the turkey on the thumbnail, I guess. Hope you guys have a good one with your guys' family. If you're alone, hope you have a good one as well. Thanksgiving is always a fun day, at least for football. And today they actually loaded up the slate so we don't have some garbage games on Thanksgiving. Christmas, on the other hand, you might as well actually hang out with your family on Christmas because those games reek to fucking high heaven. So, and I'm trying to be, happy Thanksgiving to you, Jason. I'm trying to be a little bit more family friendly today, not be dropping any crazy curse words, which I just failed at doing. But because I know some of you guys may be watching around your family, and I don't want to, come off as, the crazy guy that's yelling on your screen to your family. So, Jennings or QJ? In 1 week, this week, I would go Jennings. RJ Harvey, ETN, Jaylen Warren, Bucky. I'm benching Bucky. Again, I might come out as being wrong about Bucky Irving this week, but everything that we have read about Bucky Irving indicates that he is going to see a similar workload. And I'm going to read off the exact quote. Roto World, Bucky Irving. So that you guys don't think I'm just lying to you. We're going to read exactly what they said. Bucky Irving practicing fully. Irving is expected to be eased into action on Sunday. Where's the actual report? See, of course, Roto World doesn't have the report I'm looking for that I read on Twitter. Let's search again. Go to the Twitter. Bucky Irving. Bucks offensive coordinator Josh Grizzard said Bucky Irving would have a similar workload to Chris Godwin in his return. For context, Chris Godwin played 35% of the snaps in his return. So, optimistically, we could get 50% of the snaps. A safer thought process would be around 35% of the snaps. I think that is a big risk. Now, again, Bucky's a great player. Bucky could take 30% of the snaps and house 2 touchdowns, right? He's a great player. I'm not trying to deny the talent here, but I think you're taking a big risk with him personally. So I'm going to go Jennings. I'm going to go RJ Harvey, ETN, and Jaylen Warren. Leave Bucky on the bench. Mando Jr., thank you for the super chat. Bucky, Hendo, Hunt, Dobbs. Great question. Bucky, Hendo, Hunt, and Dobbs. All right. Bucky, Hendo, Hunt, Dobbs. See, now this is a scenario where if you wanted to go Bucky instead of Dobbs, I wouldn't judge you. But again, we also have to keep in mind that Baker may not play, right? And if Baker doesn't play and the game is in Teddy Two Gloves' hand, the game's going to get out of hand, right? The game is going to get out of hand. You're still starting him, though, false prophet. I respect it. You know what? I get it. You held the guy forever. You held Bucky Irving through thick and thin, when he's not playing. And you're going to play him. And you know what? I'm not going to judge you for that. But, it scares the shit out of me. Sorry for cursing again. I said I wasn't going to curse. And I cursed again. It scared the poop out of me, I'll tell you what. So I would go Henderson, Hunt, and Dobbs. I'm sitting Bucky again. I just don't trust it. Diggs, Brees, Javonte Williams, Gibbs, Etienne, Adams, Ladd. Great question. Great question, Dan. Great question. Your team is loaded. All right. You cannot sit Gibbs. That's obvious. You cannot sit Etienne. That is obvious. You cannot sit Adams. That is obvious. The reason why you can't sit Gibbs, we saw what he did last week. The reason why you can't sit Etienne, he's been reliable ever since coming out the bye. You can't sit Adams because the guy has like 8,000 touchdowns in the last 7 weeks of the season. I think he has 12 touchdowns in 11 games. That's just bizarre. And there are so many people in the summer getting mad at me talking up Devontae Adams. And again, I was wrong on tons of things in the summer, so I'm not going to act like I'm some genius. But that, to me, seemed so obvious. And yet people still didn't like him, which I thought was weird. Yeah, make sure you guys do hit the like button, by the way. So Gibbs, Adams, Etienne, you lock them in. You don't even think twice about it. Ladd, I don't think Ladd is as much of a mortal lock of the century. You got to play Ladd. But let's be real here. Ladd is definitely the fourth best player that we have on here. Ladd is definitely the fourth best player that we have on here. So Gibbs, Etienne, Adams, Ladd. Now the question is that Javonte or Jameson Williams? Regardless of which Jay Williams it is, I'm going Diggs, even if that's J-Mo or Javonte. Javonte has a bad matchup. So I would go Diggs, I would go Gibbs, I would go Etienne, Adams, and Ladd. Lock it in. Gibbs, Etienne, Adams, Ladd, Diggs. Bang. Thank you for the super chat, Demetrius. Start one. Diggs, Flowers, Olave, Shakir, non-PPR. Thanks. All right. So the rule that we always speak about with non-PPR is still intact. In non-PPR, we are just looking for the touchdown, right? I think if you're talking about the safest player in PPR, it's definitely Shakir, right? Shakir gets so many targets, but he's not a guy that you project most weeks to get in the end zone. Now, this week, that could be different. They're playing up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense reeks to high heaven up against wide receivers. So if there ever was a week for him to score a touchdown, it would be this week. I would go, though, with Olave. I understand that the Saints are not a good team, but I would expect them to be down against the Dolphins. I know being down against the Dolphins, that sounds crazy to say for any team, but I think that will be the case. I think the Dolphins will be up. I think late in the game, they're going to have to throw the ball. And based on everything I know about the Dolphins defense, there's going to be 4 to 5 times in this game where he is wide open, where there is not a single person within an area code of the guy, right? Where he is just like, when they play zone especially, there are gaping holes in the zone, and he will take advantage of that. Olave is a very talented wide receiver. And while Olave is not necessarily the touchdown guy, I think he's going to score against the Dolphins. Again, the Dolphins defense, they will play very well once you get kind of close to the end zone. So maybe he won't score, but he is the kind of guy that I could see getting the big reception and finding the end zone. The Dolphins do the kind of bend, don't break defense where they'll let you go right up the field. They'll let you march up the field like it's the Thanksgiving Day parade. And then they close the door, Hodor style, right when you get there to potentially score. But Olave is the kind of guy that can just bust one off. So I would go with Olave personally. Thank you for the super chat. Carnivore, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you from 1146. I got to go back and again. We're trying to go faster. I do apologize. I know you guys have places to be, so you don't need to be, an hour back answering waiting a while for me to answer your question. Carnivore, can you drop your question in chat again, please? Because I do not see it. It's entirely possible that, again, we had exactly what happened last week where you put like a slash or a comma or a dash or something and it just blocked your question. Just drop it again in chat. I have your name already pinned, so I'm going to pull up your question. once you type it in the chat. Hey, man. Hey, my dude. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Half PPR league. Would you start Olave or Michael Wilson? Thanks. I would have to go with Olave. Again, just because Marvin Harrison Jr. is back, that obviously does throw a wrench in the Michael Wilson scenario. Now, does that mean that you sit Michael Wilson? No. But in this scenario, when you already have Olave, you would be sitting Michael Wilson. Again, I will answer Michael Wilson to a bunch of questions today and on Sunday and on Friday. We'll be live tomorrow too. I'll answer a million questions in his favor, but just not this question. I would definitely prefer Olave. And again, Carnivore, please drop your question in chat and I will get it to you. 8-team full PPR. Pick one. Wide receiver, Roma Dunze, Troy Franklin, Yoshi Voss, Ty Johnson, Cameron Dyke. Pick two, or DK. Sorry about that. Pick one, running back, Rico, Vidal, Pacheco, Ramondre, tight end, Juwan Johnson, Strange, Schultz, Atlanta, Miami, LAC. Okay, let's just do this one at a time. I'm going to pull up the rankings real quick. For wide receiver, I'm going Troy Franklin. Definitely going Troy Franklin for wide receiver. For running back, I'm going Rico. For tight end question's tough because I like a lot of those guys. I would go Theo Johnson. For defense, I'm going to go with the Chargers. The Chargers 3, Rams 4, so Chargers. And then kicker, based on my rankings, Bates, Elliott, or Patterson. All right, I would go Bates. No, I would go. I'd go Bates. So we're gonna go Franklin. We're gonna go Rico. We're gonna go. Oh wait, that's Juwan Johnson, not Theo Johnson. Okay, so I might re-answer that question. Yeah, so we're gonna go Troy Franklin. We're gonna go Rico Dowdle. We're gonna go Brenton Strange. We're gonna go LAC, and we're gonna go Bates. So let's just type it out real quick. Franklin, Rico, Strange, LAC, Bates. Thank you for the super chat. And again, can I add someone on here? Carnivore, please drop your question in chat. All right, Lulu, thank you for the super chat. Hello. Monagai or Monty? Monty's usage is minimal, though aware the Eagles will be kind of hard for Monagai, who might not reach the red zone. Thanks, King. No problem. Yeah, that's the kind of scenario where I would go with the Monty play. Because again, Monagai is very dependent on the touchdown. And I get he's been cashing the touchdown, so I'll give him all the credit in the world. He's been cashing the touchdown, but do I think that that's a guarantee to happen this week against the Eagles? No. Montgomery, any given game, it doesn't matter how good or bad the defense is. Montgomery could easily score multiple touchdowns. He's also just significantly safer than Monagai because even if he doesn't have a good game, he should still get you like 8 points. And I honestly don't think you can guarantee 8 points with Monagai. So I would go with David Montgomery. Sportsman, thank you for the super chat. PPR, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end to flex. Okay, we're going to type this one out. ETN, Genty, Jacobs, Marks, Judkins. Okay, so ETN and Jacobs. Next question is wide receivers: Nico, Jefferson, Pittman, Sutton, McLaurin, Wandale, Flowers. Okay, I would go Pittman. I would go Nico. At tight end, you got to go Warren. At quarterback is Josh Allen. I love you too. Thank you so much for the super chat. And then, man. Do we want to go Genty at the flex? I think we got to go Genty. I prefer Genty over the receivers, so I'd go Genty. So ETN, Jacobs, Pittman, Nico, Warren, Josh Allen, and Genty. Thank you for the super chat. ETN, again, very safe. Jacobs, very safe. Nico, kind of risky, but you're not sitting Nico. Just like you're not sitting Pittman, kind of risky, but you're not sitting him. Tyler Ward, obviously, you only have 1 tight end. You have 1 quarterback, but you already knew, like, if you have Tyler Ward, you're playing him. If you have Josh Allen, you're playing him. And then Genty, just because, again, I love Woody Marks. I love Judkins. I don't love Genty's situation, but I just feel safe with Genty. Like, even when Geno shits the bed, he still has been playing well. So, That's how I feel. Fruit Punch, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Love you long time. Burrow or Jones, Hunt or Harvey, thank you. Goat, love you. Thank you. As I thank you. I appreciate you. It's a good question. Okay, so running back, we're gonna go Burrow over Jones. So it's Hunt versus Harvey. I got Harvey again against the Commanders. You got to play Harvey. He's just way safer because while I don't think that you're gonna end up seeing, Hunt get a 100% of the snaps or anything like that, I do trust Harvey, but I trust Hunt. And then Burrow. I mean, you're just not sitting Burrow, a lot of you guys. I don't like that they're playing Burrow. I don't trust it at all, but I probably would just play Burrow because Daniel Jones has such a bad matchup. So yeah, I would go Harvey and I would go Burrow. Andrew, my man, thank you for the super chat. Love you long time. Thank you for the super chat. Dak or Burrow, Stafford or Hurts. Pick 2, Nico, Mecca, Michael Wilson, Devontae Smith, Shakir. Great question. Dak or Burrow, Dak, Stafford or Hurts, Hurts. And then, Stafford or Hurts is a tough question. I have them ranked in the same tier, but I'd go Hurts. And then you got to play Nico, and I think I have to play Michael Wilson. So Michael Wilson, Nico, Hurts, and Dakota Prescott. Jagger, thank you for the super chat. Standard 10-2. Round of applause for you. 10-2. I think that's the record of my best team as well. So great success for you. Round of a fucking applause for you. That's amazing. Gesicki, Fannin, Schultz. Again, we are just closing our eyes in a standard league and just envisioning who is most likely to find the end zone. In my opinion, I think the guy most likely to score probably is Gesicki. Gesicki is definitely the most risky out of the bunch, though, right? If you want to just get 7 points because it is it's a standard league, I would just play Fannin. If you want to be safe, you just play Fannin, but I'd go Gesicki personally because I think Gesicki is the most likely of that group to score. Justin, thank you for the super chat. Happy Thanksgiving, brother. Happy Thanksgiving to you. You're in a must-win game. I got you. Now, it's crazy, honestly, that we are already at this point in the season where, it's almost over. It's actually very sad because it feels like we just started the season. The season goes so fast. I don't know about for you guys, but the football season is the fastest part of the year for me. Now everything else just feels like a nice slow drag until we get here. But feels like we just started a couple days ago and we're already almost in the playoffs. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone in chat. And we will get to the normal questions too, just so you guys are aware. And here, let me just do something really quick. I'm going to answer your question in half a second. In a must-win for the playoff spot, Brees, Javonte, Igbuka, Diggs, AJ Brown. Great question. Great question. I'm going to pull up my live stream, though, on here. I'm going to mute it so you guys don't hear it. Oh, I fucking pinned it. I didn't even know you could pin things on Chrome. I wanted to mute it. Sorry for cursing. I'm going to try to @ Carnivore because I want to make sure he sees that I didn't get his question. And then we're going to answer your question. Oh, is he not even in here anymore? Okay. Back to the question. You need 3. Brees, Javonte Williams, Igbuka, Diggs, or AJ Brown. Going Brees over Javonte because Javante's playing the Chiefs, man, and the Chiefs just had Jonathan Taylor locked up. I don't think that is very positive for Javonte. So I would stay away from Javonte in a lot of scenarios if possible. So Brees, going Diggs, and I'm going AJ Brown, and Igbuka has to get the pine because, again, I don't know if Baker's going to play. It seems like he may, but again, there's nothing definitive right now. And I don't know if teams obviously teams are going to practice today on Thanksgiving, but it feels like the news is just so slow today. Like there's just no information, which sucks. So I'm probably going to go ahead and just play Brees, Diggs, and AJ Brown. I think that's the smart move there. Thank you for the super chat. Happy Thanksgiving, Dowdle or fucking a Doomsday. I feel you on that. That's hilarious. I feel you on that. I would go Dowdle. Look, I understand Dowdle did not produce very well last week, but the team, according to Dowdle, already addressed this all. Canales, the head coach, basically told Dowdle and the team that he should have relied more on the run, that they shouldn't have been throwing as much. And what's up, none of your business. So to me, that tells me they're going to give the ball more to Rico this week. We're not going to get diddled if we have Rico Dowdle, which is 100% what happened last week. If you played him, you felt violated by the guy. So I would go ahead and play Dowdle over a Doomsday. Tyler, thank you very much for the super chat. Fannin or Fairbairn or Aubrey. Fairbairn has hit double digits in 3 straight games. Aubrey last 3 was 6, 6, and 8. Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. For me, I just don't think I have the cojones, Tyler, thank you for the super chat, to sit Aubrey. I don't think I do. I do not think I do because of, I know this is like stupid, but I feel like a lot of fantasy people that play fantasy feel this way. The second you think you're done with Brandon Aubrey, the dude's going to hit today 3 60-yard kicks, right? Because that is just how fantasy works, right? The second you quit a guy is when they start to play well. It's like, I'm trying to think of the example. A few weeks ago, we were just completely done with a guy. I'm trying to remember who it was. And then he just goes bananas after I finally give up on him. I think it was DJ Moore. I said I was done with DJ Moore, and then I think DJ Moore scored 30 fantasy points because that's just what happens. If you want to go Fairbairn, go ahead. I'm not going to judge you on that because Fairbairn has played very well. I've always thought Fairbairn was one of the best kickers in the NFL, but Brandon Aubrey is my kicker 1. I have Fairbairn at 6. The good thing about Aubrey is the Dallas Cowboys could struggle offensively in this game to get into the end zone, which would mean you're just going to get a lot of free layups for Aubrey to make the kicks that he will always make. So while Aubrey has been struggling as of recently, last week was just a bad game script for Aubrey because they were down by a bunch. And obviously they didn't do anything really in the first half. And the Eagles defense dominated them in the first half. So just a bad game script for him. I think Aubrey will bounce back. So I would go Aubrey personally. Full PPR. Franklin, Judkins, Javante, or Dowdle at flex. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving to all you guys. I really appreciate you guys. It means a ton that you're spending your Thanksgiving with me in the morning. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Franklin, Judkins, Javante, or Dowdle. Man, I don't think you can sit Dowdle. It is against the Rams, though. I mean, as crazy as this may sound, gun to the head, I think I'm playing Troy Franklin. As crazy as that may sound, I think I would play Troy Franklin. Again, Troy Franklin has been phenomenal this season as of recently. We saw a wide receiver 1 finish. Now, I know that was against the Cowboys, Nick. The Cowboys suck, I know. But he's had big games this season. He has big upside. He's been out-targeting Cortland Sutton. He's got a great matchup this week on paper. Obviously, on paper doesn't always mean everything, right? There's a reason why the game's played on the gridiron because you can't just play the game in your spreadsheet, but I would go Troy Franklin, and happy Thanksgiving to you. Brett, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. PPR, wide receiver 2 and a flex. Marvin Harrison Jr., Michael Wilson, Shakir, or Javante. Please pick 2. I got you. Yeah, no way I'm sitting Aubrey. I agree with you. You can't sit Aubrey. All right. I would go. Great question. Great question. Kicker strategy is easy. Don't play in leagues that start kickers. I mean, I kind of agree with you. I think kickers are the hardest position to predict on a week in, week out standpoint. By far. I think defenses take a ton of skill. I think kicker literally is just random. Obviously, there's factors that you play into things, the weather, all that. So I'm not going to say there's no skill in it, but it is by far the most random position in all fantasy. All right.
MHJ, Michael Wilson, Shakir, Javonte. Now, technically, I have ranked the highest MHJ and Michael Wilson. The question is, can you stomach playing both Cardinals wide receivers? If the answer is no, you cannot. I would play Michael Wilson and I would play Shakir. If you can stomach that, I would play both of them. I think if it's my team, even though I do have them ranked back to back, I would rather go Michael Wilson and Shakir and not just be all in on Jacoby Brissett. So if it's my team, I'm going Michael Wilson and I would go with Shakir. Silent Flow, thank you for the super chat. Burrow or Dart and Watson or Javonte Williams, the running back. Thank you so much for the super chat. Great question. We've got a lot of great questions today. None of this has been easy, Sometimes you guys ask questions, they're fucking layups. It's easy. Get in, get out. This question's tough. I expect Dart to play, right? Is that the common consensus? Jackson, Dart, Roto World. Jackson, Dart, Roto World. Yeah, he practiced in full. Dart has missed last 2 weeks after suffering a concussion. The rookie quarterback has been pulled from a game for concussion check, blah, 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 blah. A full practice puts him on track to clear the concussion protocol, which I believe he will. I have him as my quarterback 8. I have Burrow as quarterback 11. I would play Dart. I think Dart is also way safer. So, yes, the answer for me would be Dart, and Watson or Javonte Williams. I absolutely hate Javonte Williams this week. I would rather play Javonte Williams over Dart. So that's how I would rather play Javonte Williams over Watson. I just trust Javonte way more. So Javonte and Dart for me. Grindbird, thank you so much for the super chat. JMO over Devin Neal, Brissett over Lamar. I have Brissett over Lamar. A lot of people are like, Nick, you just have to start Lamar, which I get. But anyone that's watching the games will fully acknowledge with me that there is no way that you can 100% trust. You cannot trust with 100% certainty that Lamar looks like himself. To me, Lamar looked like a shittier version of himself over the last few weeks. Maybe some of you will disagree. I think he did not look very good. So that really worries me. And I think that the injury that he's been dealing with has been sinking his battleship. So for me, I would go ahead and play Brissett and JMO over Devin Neal. I would play JMO. If you just want 10 points, play Devin Neal. Did any of you guys play the DraftKings thing? The king of the end zone? I'm trying to think who I should pick. Someone that no one's going to pick. I think I'm going to pick... it's for the longest touchdown, right? Player scores the longest touchdown. I'm going to pick someone that not a lot of people are going to pick. We're going to go Tyquan Thornton. All right. So, yeah, JMO for me, and I would go Brissett. Mr. Gabriel Sosa, thank you for the super chat, my man. Greatly appreciate you. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Michael Wilson or Christian Watson. It's Michael Wilson. I get Lamar. I get that Marvin Harrison Jr. coming back. Definitely, it's not the most ideal thing for Michael Wilson, but the team has already made it abundantly clear that they want Michael Wilson involved. Michael Wilson and Jacoby Brissett have a phenomenal connection, and I don't think that necessarily means that you're going to just see Marvin Harrison Jr. go to like the, in the corner and watch it. Every hotel room's got the cuck chair type deal. But I do think that you're going to see more Michael Wilson compared to well before. So for me, I would go with Michael Wilson over Christian Watson 100%. 100%. Joe Burrow or Jared Goff, he also asked. So Michael Wilson over Christian Watson. He also asked, where was it? He said, Joe Burrow or Jared Goff, it's a must-win week for me. I'm leaning towards the safer quarterback, Goff. Yes, Goff is way safer. I will agree. But if you need to win, I would risk it for the biscuit and go Burrow. Thank you for the super chat. Carnivore, thank you. I apologize that you couldn't get your question in before. Thank you so much for the super chat. Jameson Williams or Roma Dunze full PPR. That's one. Then one of those two or Woody Marks in the flex? Great question. So the way I look at this is you basically have three guys that are very boom or bust, right? Obviously, Roma Dunze, anyone that has Roma Dunze will fully acknowledge this has been a straight up roller coaster ride. We've seen a lot more consistency out of JMO recently, and then Jameson Williams completely shafted you last week in a great matchup against the Giants defense. So we're still kind of in limbo, in my opinion, with Jameson Williams. And then with Woody Marks, he's getting all the touches, but it hasn't necessarily guaranteed him actual fantasy production, right? So you're kind of in limbo with all three guys, right? You could talk yourself into all three of them because these are, in my opinion, three very, 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 very talented players. But we're in scenarios that we don't necessarily trust all of them. I think if it's my fantasy team, I'm going to play Roma Dunze and I'm going to play Jameson Williams because I think they have the highest upside. I think both of those guys could easily put your fantasy team on their back and win you your week potentially by themselves if you want to be safer. Because again, JMO's floor legitimately is 0 fantasy points. I would play Marks and a Dunze in full PPR if you want to be safe. If you want to be more risky, JMO and a Dunze, and I would go JMO and a Dunze personally. Starting Warren, PPR need 1, Gainwell or Watson. Again, it's tough because it's very hard for me to tell anyone to start 2 running backs on the same team. Now, there have been scenarios where if you have both guys, I'm playing them. For instance, if you guys ever had Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane back in 2023, I had them both on my team. I won that league. You were starting them every single week together, right? David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs from last year and the year before that. You were starting both of them. No ifs, ands, or buts. But Gainwell and Jaylen Warren are like the dollar store version of those guys. Christian Watson is risky, but I do still think Gainwell's just getting lucky. I think Gainwell's luck is going to run out eventually. And if it was ever going to run out, it would be, in a tougher matchup like this week. Oh man, I almost just said the completely wrong matchup because in my head, that would have been so bad if I said the wrong matchup. Jaylen Warren's going up against the Bills. That's actually an easy matchup, so I'm glad that I fucking second guessed myself. I'm going Watson and I'm going Warren. I just think Warren's more likely to be, the guy this week. Start 3. Wide receivers: Diggs, Lamb, Pittman, Shakir, Watson, Addison. Start 1, Kittle or Kelsey, and flex any one of these guys. Start 1 quarterback: Daniel Jones, Brock Purdy. Thank you. No problem. Okay. So at tight end, it sucks that you have to sit Kelsey, but you're playing Kittle. It's impossible. Kittle is in the impossible range to sit, in my opinion. Kelsey, you can make an argument to sit Kelsey, and that would be if you have, Brock Bowers or Kittle or McBride, right? Those are really the 3 scenarios where you're sitting Kelsey and you're in one of those scenarios. I don't love playing 2 tight ends every single week. I think that, it's fine, but it's not something that, super sparks my interest playing 2 tight ends. So if it's my team, I think I'm just going to play 1 tight end, and that would be Kittle. At the 3 receivers, I'm going Shakir, I'm going Lamb, and I'm going Diggs. And at flex, I'm going Pittman. You're playing Kittle, and you're playing, are you playing Daniel Jones or are you playing Purdy? Are you playing Daniel Jones or are you playing Purdy? It's a good question. Daniel Jones or Brock Purdy? Man, oh man. I would go Daniel Jones or Brock Purdy. I got Daniel Jones 19, Purdy 18. I'm going Purdy. Purdy, we're going Diggs, Lamb, Pittman, Shakir, Kittle, Purdy. Bang, bang. Dino, thank you for the super chat. 12-team full PPR. Wide receiver 3 in a flex. Alec Pierce, DK, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore. Shamir DK. I love Shamir DK. Do I trust Cam Ward in back-to-back games? No, I don't. Problem is, I don't trust any of these guys. I'm keeping it a buck with you. I don't trust any of them. Gun to the head, I think I would go Alec Pierce and I would go DJ Moore. Keenan Allen has seemingly fallen heavily out of favor with that offense. I understand it's still recoverable, so like I wouldn't cut Keenan Allen, but it doesn't seem like Keenan Allen's time to shine is necessarily right now. So for me, I would go DJ Moore and Alec Pierce. That's what I would do. RJ Harvey or Javonte Williams full PPR. I'm going RJ Harvey. Again, we just saw the Chiefs lock up. The Chiefs just locked up Jonathan Taylor. What do we think's going to happen to, Javonte Williams? Realistically, we know what's going to happen, right? We know that's not good. We know that's bad. So I would expect to go with Javonte. I mean, I would love to play Javonte because I think Javonte is way better than RJ Harvey, but I would go RJ Harvey based on the scenario. Rock out with your cock out. Thank you for the super chat. Dak over Brissett and Bo, Love, or Darnold. Great question. So, yeah, I would definitely go with Dak over Brissett ever so slightly. I have Dak as quarterback 6, Brissett 7, 6, 7. Ha. Yeah, so it's just ever so slightly Dak over Brissett. And then Bo, I got Bo 12. I got Love 17, Darnold 16. So I would go Bo. So we're going to go Bo. We're going to go Dak as well. Thank you for the super chats. 52 super chats. We're on pace to set a world fucking record here. Harvey or Ladd, Bucky or Dowdle. Thank you for the super chat. Again, Bucky to me is only a start in the most dire scenarios, right? If you are down bad, you can play Bucky because of the fact that, again, they're basically insinuating that Bucky is going to get 35% of the snaps. You don't want to be starting a guy getting 35% of the snaps at the running back position. Now, if there ever was a running back to succeed off 35% of the snaps, who would that be? His name would be Bucky Irving, right? Of course, one of the better running backs. They can obviously succeed in that scenario, but it's not something you want to be, 100% in love with, right? So for me, I'm going with Bucky. I'm going with Rico over Bucky. And then I'm going with Ladd over Harvey. I understand the last spot up against the Jaguars. Ladd McConkey was awful. The whole offense was dreadful. It was actually hard to watch, right? That is how bad it was. But I will say that I don't think that's going to be how they operate. I mean, the Chargers just always stink against the Jaguars, which is factual. I mean, that playoff game, if you guys remember, what a game that was. So I would go Ladd and I would go Dowdle. Thank you guys all for the super chat. Sutton or Franklin? I would go Franklin. Rico or Harvey? Rico. Captain, I got an offer to trade Dart for Ladd. Who is your other quarterback? Because I would do that depending on who your other quarterback is. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Play 2. Jefferson, Harvey, Tet. I'd go Tet and Harvey. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Service announcement, everyone. Click that like button. Facts. Make sure you guys do hit that like button. I don't ask for a lot here. Just ask that you hit the like button. It is the biggest way to help the YouTube channel, besides just sending me your whole paycheck, which is obviously a joke. Again, I don't know how many of you guys are new to the stream or if you've been watching for a while. Obviously, a lot of you guys are here every single stream. That was a joke, but for the people that are new, I don't want them to think that I would say something like that. Smash the like button. Facts. Burrow or Brissett? Brissett. I need one quarterback, one wide receiver, and one running back. Neil or Monty? I would go Monty. JMO or DJ? JMO, Burrow or Darnold? Burrow. Smash the like button like if I paid it money. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's get over 100 likes. Yeah, I don't know the last time a stream of mine has gotten over 100 likes. I don't think it ever does. It hurts my feelings, I go to sleep and cry at night because of that. All right. Dak or May? May. Full PPR, Sutton, Jalen Warren, Michael Wilson, or Hampton. I would go Michael Wilson. Herbert is my other quarterback. Yeah, you're doing it. DK or Booty? DK. Ha ha ha. Yeah, make sure you guys are in the Discord, by the way. Anyone that is not in the Discord, make sure you are in there. Obviously, I don't expect the Discord to be super active today. We know why. It's Thanksgiving. I'll be popping in there every once in a while throughout the day. And I hope you guys do have a great Thanksgiving. Should be a fun one. Again, we've got some great games. We got a great game tomorrow, too. And I will be live tomorrow as well for anyone that enjoys these streams. Obviously, you enjoy them if you're still sitting here, So make sure you guys do clock in for that. Clock it. Okay. Start Bucky or Igbuka or Michael Wilson at the flex. Also start Burrow or Stafford. I would go Stafford, and I would go Michael Wilson. Check is in the mail. Thank you. Thank you. Diggs or Olave? Olave, Lamar, or Burrow. I would go Lamar. Man, Lamar scares the shit out of me. So does Burrow, though. So I think I'd lean with Lamar. He just has the better matchup. Makes more sense to play the guy with the better matchup. I'm just answering his Patreon question. Start one running back and two flex. I'm not going to say who this is because I don't want anyone to feel like, I'm saying their full name or anything. Happy Thanksgiving to this person as well. They said Happy Thanksgiving. Bucky, Judkins, Igbuka, T-Mac, Sutton, Strange. I'd go Judkins, T-Mac, and Igbuka. I think that's the smart answer there. All right. Fins up. Yes, sir. Fins up. Sutton or Michael Wilson? Michael Wilson. Nick has the best humor. I swear he always makes us laugh. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad you enjoy. Only my wife found me that funny, And I only say that because there's like a half chance she's watching the stream right now. That's the only reason why I said that. Maybe make her turn her head. Stop hurting his feelings, man. Facts. You're awesome. Bless you, brother. Thank you. Fruit Punch. Thank you for the super chat again. I appreciate you. Walker or Hunt? Gadsden or Watson or Charbonnet? Thank you, GOAT. Thank you. Walker or Hunt? I'm going Hunt. Look, if you want to be safe, you play Walker, right? Because the way Hunt hits is Hunt scores multiple touchdowns. Now, if there ever was a game for a running back to score multiple touchdowns, it would be against the Dallas Cowboys. So I actually think Kareem Hunt is severely underrated today. I don't know if any of you guys would agree with me on that. I think, again, the floor is very low. The floor is as low as it gets, but I think the ceiling is very, very high. Quarterback Daniel Jones has a fractured fibula. Jones will continue. All right, I'm going to read this and then we're going to answer your question. He will continue to play through it and was listed as a full participant in practice. Sheesh. That is crazy. Sheesh. Okay, let's go Walker. Let's go Hunt over Walker. Because, again, Walker is safer. So if you guys want to be safe, please play it safe. Please play it safe and play Walker. He's way safer. But the upside to me with Walker doesn't feel high at all. I just think the odds of him scoring a touchdown just always feels kind of low, especially scoring multiple touchdowns. So I'd go Hunt. And then Gadsden, Watson, or Charbonnet. Thank you, GOAT. I would go Gadsden, personally. I think Gadsden bounces back. Thank you for the super chat. Love you long time. Sutton or Michael Wilson, happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Yeah, for me, it's Michael Wilson, and I'm a Sutton truther. So don't think I hate Cortland Sutton. I actually really like Cortland Sutton. I still think Cortland Sutton's got it. I think Unk still got it, but man, oh man, oh man. Yeah, make sure you guys do check your lineups, especially before throughout the day, just to make sure no one that you thought was going to play is going to get ruled out. Based on everything that I've read, nothing should be shocking today. Like, you shouldn't just, randomly get surprised that someone is out. But it's still important to check because, shit happens all the time. Maybe someone, went to go have some early Thanksgiving and someone undercooked the turkey, and you're just out for the count, You never know. You never know. Guys get ruled out all the time that you don't expect. So make sure you do check your lineups a couple times. Sutton or Michael Wilson? I'm going Michael Wilson. I love Sutton. I think Sutton is still the wide receiver one in Denver, but realistically, it seems like his job has been stolen by Troy Franklin. Michael Wilson's going to get a downtick in targets with Maserati Marv back, but again, he has a proven connection with Brissett. the team throws the ball a million times. Even if Trey Benson is back, they're still going to throw the ball a million times. So, in my humble opinion, I think the smart move would be to go with Michael Wilson. Is Barkley good to go? From what I have read, it seems like I don't see anything that says Barkley's not going to play. That game's on Friday, though, so we'll have more information tomorrow. Follow up, Jalen Warren, Sutton, or Hampton for the flex. Thank you for the super chat. Again, for me, I really worry about Hampton this week, and maybe I'm just a pussy or something, but based on what I've read, it doesn't necessarily seem like Hampton is, clearly going to instantly get back in the driver's seat and be the clear lead back. Now, obviously, he's going to get the most touches between him and Vidal, right? I think you'd be crazy to assume anything else. Assuming he plays, he will get more touches than Vidal, but how many touches is a concern? I understand that we have had the rise of usage in this offense for Kenneth Gainwell when it comes to Jalen Warren, but I still think Jalen Warren's the guy. Wet dream matchup. I'm going Jalen Warren. Warren or Gainwell, Warren. 10 more likes, guys. Yeah, make sure you guys do hit that like button. Thanks. Opponents thought game was today. My bad. Oh no problem. Yeah. So the game tomorrow is the Eagles versus the Bears. It does get confusing when they magically decided to play a game on Friday. And I also don't like, to be completely honest with you, that the Black Friday game is on at 4. Is it 4 or 3 o'clock? To me, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why is the game? I know, people have lives on Friday night. Okay, the game should be played either at night or just play it at 12. Like 4 o'clock to me just seems like such a weird, or 3 o'clock seems like such a weird time to start a game. Now, maybe you guys all disagree, and I won't judge you, but I'm trying to go to the mall tomorrow and buy some shit. Like, come on. One of the few people that actually likes going. I love going to the mall on Black Friday. The only time someone has ever noticed me in person was at the mall on Black Friday like 2 years ago, which was pretty funny. But that's not why I like to go shopping on Black Friday. I just like looking at all this stuff and then buying stuff that I should not buy. That's where I got my AirPods a couple years ago. Got my mic on Black Friday. Black Friday is goated. Black Friday used to be way more serious, though. You used to have to, sacrifice your life to get a television. Just not the case anymore. Reese, Diggs, or Warren, Sutton, or Franklin, thank you, and happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. You know what? I think the bots today, they're on vacation because it's Thanksgiving, because we've only seen two bots today. Games are at 2 a.m. for me. Yeah, it's brutal, man. That is brutal. But, I respect it. I respect that you're up at 2 in the morning watching football. I would be too if I did not live in America. But who knows, actually. I guess if I wasn't born here, maybe I just wouldn't like the NFL. That's also possible. It's all about how you grow up, I guess. Brees, Diggs, or Warren? I would go Brees, Diggs, or Warren. Fuck, that's a good question. Brees, Diggs, or Warren? I would go Warren. And I would go Warren, and I would go Franklin over Sutton. You'd be a soccer fan. Yeah, you never know, though, because, I don't also just only like football. Obviously, I watch a bunch of different sports. But yeah, you're probably right. I'd probably be watching soccer. I watch soccer now, so not much different. But I don't watch soccer all the time. I'm excited for the World Cup. Obviously, that's what really gets the juices flowing for me. The World Cup. The World Cup was crazy a few years ago when it was in, I think it was in like Qatar or Qatar. I've heard it pronounced like 18 different ways. But yeah, in Qatar. And it was during the football season. It was crazy. I don't know if any of you guys remember that. It was awesome. Hopefully Italy does something this year. Italy has really heavily disappointed me over the last few years. We did win the Euros a couple years ago. Might have been during COVID. That was awesome. But very disappointed, Team Italy. So I would go Franklin and Warren. Yeah, how was Oktoberfest? Black Friday, a couple years ago, saved massive on all the computer parts from my system that's still chugging along, playing video games, browsing. That's awesome. Yeah, I bought computer stuff is always, that's where I got my computer on Black Friday last year. I bought my computer on Black Friday. I bought the one I used to stream. So I don't have the best computer, obviously, because I didn't feel like dropping a crazy amount to get like the best computer ever. I think I bought my computer. I think it was like $1,800, something like that. So it's not. I don't have like a cheap computer, but I don't have the most expensive computer either. So that's what I would. I love Black Friday though. Oktoberfest is always fun. These games at 7 for you, so that's good. Rashad White is done. Cut him. I agree. No, I disagree. Actually, I think Rashad White right now has more value than ever because with Bucky back, I think Rashad White is the actual clear RB2. With that said, though, if Bucky goes down, he's useless. So yeah, I mean, you can cut him if you want. Judkins, Rico, Harvey, or BTJ Rico. Should I start Ross Dwelly since I think he's going to be the starting tight end for Detroit? I agree he's going to be the starting tight end for Detroit. I don't think that really means much though. Like I don't think, your life is saved by Ross Dwelly. Make sure you I think there's probably other tight ends that you could play over Ross Dwelly, but if you have to play him, it's fine. Big ass question. Yoshi Vaz or Jacoby Myers? I'd go Jacoby. Sutton or Bowers? I'd go Bowers. I hate playing tight ends at the flex, but I would in your scenario. Which all my boys got hard matchups. Pickens, CD, and Jacobs. You know what? It's gonna be okay, man. You've got it. You got to believe in order to succeed. So weird. I mean, like the games are very interesting today. I don't think many of these games are going to be shootouts, but I guess they easily could be. But it's like there's a lot of good defenses playing today, which for some people is just a snooze fest. Which I understand. I prefer the regular season games to be as high scoring as possible, and in the playoffs, if it's a low scoring game, I'll be like, all right, I get it. In the regular season, though, I prefer every game to be as high scoring as possible. Obviously, that's just because of fantasy, right? You obviously want the most points possible. Lamar or Mayfield? I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I don't think Mayfield's gonna play. I'd go Lamar. Am I crazy for wanting to start Burrow and Yoshi Vaz? Yeah, you are, in my opinion. If you want to get crazy and play Burrow, I would just play Burrow and Shakir and just keep it safe. Phil, thank you for the super chat. Worthy or Mooney flex PPR? Great question. I am going to go Mooney. Dude, Worthy has been so down bad as of recently. I understand. Nick, Darnell Mooney's fucking quarterback sucks ass. Oh man, you know Kirk Cousins is a good Nick. I know, but I am definitely gonna play Darnell Mooney because Xavier Worthy at this point, like, sure, maybe this is the game where they do the F it, he out there somewhere type of play, which is possible, but I'm gonna go Mooney. I feel way safer about Mooney. Dude, the bot I literally said before, oh dude, the bots are not coming out they're not the bots are not here today. They're keeping it civil on Thanksgiving, and then after I said that, there's been roughly 7,000 bots in the chat. Never overpay for computer stuff. Yeah, I agree. Computer stuff the prices drop so heavily so quickly for those kind of things. If I ever become a millionaire, I'm buying one of those super computers though, so that I can have like 30 monitors, look like a Five Nights at Freddy's type of setup. I only have 2 right now. I used to use 3. I think 3 is kind of the sweet spot, but it would just look kind of funny just to like take a picture of the setup. There's like 8 monitors here. That's how I stream on my 8 monitor setup. Nakua and Michael Wilson are starting me to flex. I would go Franklin. I would go Lad, but obviously if you can't go Lad, go Franklin. K-Dot is the worst tight end ever. I disagree. We have seen so many bad tight ends in the NFL, but I get your point. I get your sentiment. You're mad. Why you mad, bro? No, I mean, I get why you're mad. That was bad last week. Going bad. All right. Pittman, Sutton, BTJ. I'd go with Pittman and Sutton. Warren or Walker or Neal. I would go Warren. Gawk. Happy Turkey Day. Suckers. Happy Thanksgiving. Oh yeah, drop Kate Otten for Dalton or Mr. Theo Johnson. I drop for Theo Johnson. Colts or Saints. I would go Colts or Saints? Who are the Colts? Like off the top of my head, I got the Colts 20, Saints 18. So I go Saints. Gadsden or Loveland? Gadsden. Worthy, Neal or Godwin? Neal. Playing Parkinson over Juwan for fun. Respect. Is Tez okay to drop? Yeah, that's fine. Cowboys versus Chiefs shootout? Definitely possible. The late game is going to be a shootout. I don't know, man. The Ravens I don't know, man. The Ravens defense has played so much better as of recently. I don't know, Jim. Oh, man. I fucking love Tony Romo. I don't actually like Tony Romo. Tony Romo pisses me off, but his, I don't know, Jim, always makes me laugh. Strange or Yoshi Voss? I'm going Strange. That's what I would do. Yeah. Thanks, no problem. I have Buka. Oh, Baker, please play. Yeah, I mean, Baker could play. It's just, man, it's so dreadful. Baker went from on top of the world, everyone across the country holding hand in hand. Baker's him. Baker MVP. And then, like, right after everyone was hyping the guy up, he completely fell. And he's just terrible now. So that's fun, right, guys? We love that. We love when we draft a guy, talk him up, and then, he just falls off completely. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Hey, Nick. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you. I have a couple of questions. First, Neal or Gainwell. Second, Indiana Jones or T-Law. Third, Seahawks or Broncos D. Can I play Kobe Parkinson? Great question. Great questions, I guess. Daniel Jones or Trevor Lawrence. I would go Trevor Lawrence. Neal or Gainwell. I'd go Neal. Seahawks or Broncos defense. I'd go Seahawks. And can I play Kobe Parkinson? I'd prefer not to play Kobe Parkinson, but yes, you can play him. Right? Just because I don't want to play him doesn't mean that you can't play him, but I would prefer not to have to play him, All right, here, wait, let me just pull up my phone real quick. Just gotta make sure I answered all the Patreon questions. Because, those people pay their hard-earned money to get me to answer their questions. And if I don't answer them, I'm a bad guy, Mass reserve. Let's reserve 3 more lineups. I love the Thanksgiving slate for DFS and stuff. Last year, I thought I was going to win $1 million if Tua would have thrown the ball when he threw the touchdown at the end of the game to Jonnu Smith. If he threw the ball to Tyreek Hill, I would have won $1 million, and you guys would have never seen me again. But instead, I'm stuck here like a jerk off streaming on Thanksgiving. That's a joke, obviously. I would still be streaming. Duh. Because I love doing this, obviously. But yeah, I would be a millionaire, Instead, I'm not. But this is my year, This is our cult. This is our team. We bleed blue. This is our cult. Whether win or lose, we love them. But yeah, could have been a millionaire. Hate to see it. But this is our year. We will become a millionaire today. This is our year, baby. All right. Oh, there's a super chat. Thank you, Basehead. I appreciate you. Mooney, Gainwell, or MHJ in the flex. You got Wilson, Watson, or Marks in flex. Okay, good question. So I'm assuming these are 2 different leagues because they're such drastically different questions. Since they are 2 different leagues, I think you are good to get a little bit more spicy here. And I think I'm going to play both Cardinals receivers in 2 different leagues. Now, the best part about this is if one of them shits the bed, it may screw you in one league, but you still have the other guys on your team to make up for it. Whereas if you have these guys on the same team, it is just, in my opinion, very gross to play both Cardinals guys. But in your scenario, I would play both Marvin Harrison Jr. and Michael Wilson. I mean, I have Michael Wilson definitively as the second answer. Definitively. The other question, there is much more of a debate. If you want to be safe, like if you're scared of Marvin Harrison Jr., the thing about Marv, though, is he didn't suffer like a knee injury or a hamstring injury, or he had a concussion or something. He had his appendix taken out. So that's like a much different scenario. Like I would feel as though he's going to slot in and just be like exactly the same. Like I don't see any reason why he would be performing significantly worse because of that. So I would go Marv, and I would go Wilson. If you want to go different, I would go Gainwell and Wilson, but that's how I feel. Happy Thanksgiving, NF. Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Gadsden or Strange? I'm going Gadsden. I'm going Gadsden over Strange. Strange appears to be a safety net for Trevor Lawrence. We have seen that so far this year, that Trevor Lawrence loves Brenton Strange. Trevor Lawrence loves him, a nice tight end. And while when Brenton Strange was out, the tight ends were not producing. Brenton Strange does produce when healthy, so I like him. But I just feel like the offense of the Chargers has to look way better this week. The biggest thing that's selling the Chargers is their offensive line. Not only are they injured, but without the guys that they had, like especially without Joe Alt, dude, the offensive line is a complete disaster. But that's also a positive for Gadsden. And you might be like, why is that a positive? Because Gadsden is the safety net for Herbert, right? Herbert could take the dump off straight to the face. So I would definitely. Oh, did I skip your question? I will answer it, Olive. Sorry. I would definitely go Gadsden over Strange. Sorry, Olive. Got Fannin, Gadsden, Waller on waiver. Am I swapping? Ooh, am I swapping? Now, the reason why I would swap is because if you're not playing Fannin, the problem with Darren Waller is we have no fucking clue Darren Waller when he's going to actually return or not, and if he will return at all. Darren Waller was limited, so he's definitely going to return soon. I would drop Fannin for him, because Fannin to me, like Shedeur looked good, so I think he could, be like a low end tight end one. I think most weeks though, you're kind of talking about him in the rankings as like a high end tight end too, right? A guy that you don't want to start, but if you have to start him, you're fine with it. Whereas Waller feels like the kind of guy that could enter must start category, right? We saw him play this season and he looked good in 3 out of the 4 games. So while I'm not going to sit here and pretend like the Dolphins are back, the Dolphins are going to the playoffs, I think it is possible. I did bet yesterday the Dolphins to make the playoffs. It was $5 to win $505. Do I think they're going to make the playoffs? No. Would I be stupid not to bet $5 on something I'm rooting for that I think is possible? Yes. So that's why I did it. But my opinion is I would drop Fannin for Waller. I just think Waller has a lot of upside, and I just don't see Fannin really becoming a league winner, in my opinion. So that's kind of just how I feel. Is there any lineups with fucking Goff in here? Jared Goff just full faded by this thing. Witcha. So yeah, I would drop Fannin for Waller, and we're gonna go real quick. Yeah. Tom Brewer, thank you for the super chat. Ferguson or Strange? I would go Ferguson. I think it is very hard to sit Jake Ferguson. It's nothing against Strange. It's more of if you expect Dallas versus the Chiefs to be higher scoring, then you kind of just have to suspend the disbelief that you end up seeing, Ferguson have that big game. So I would go Ferguson. Happy Thanksgiving, my friend. Would you start Michael Wilson or Christian Watson in non-PPR? It just feels like Watson could be a big game today. I agree with you. He definitely could be in for a big game. I think, again, Wilson, his touchdown upside probably is in the dirt with Marvin Harrison Jr. back, but he's going to get a lot of targets, should be able to get 100 yards, I think. So he just feels way safer to me than Watson, and they both have similar upside. I get liking Watson, so I'm not going to look, again, I always say this. If you want to play a guy, don't magically change your opinion because I told you something. Just go with your gut. I think the smartest move is always to go with your gut, but I would personally play Wilson. What's up, Richard? How you doing, man? Happy Thanksgiving. See you in the Discord. You too. Barner, Hawkinson, or Parkinson? I would go Barner. Hawkinson to me is a no-go. Hawkinson just kind of feels like you're you're just okay with getting 7 fantasy points, right? That's kind of just what Hawkinson is. You're just like, fuck it. I'm going to get my 7 fantasy points and I'm going to get out of here, right? I think that's a fine thought process to have, right? I'm okay with getting that many points. That's fine, but it's not how I like to do things. I like to go big or go home. And I think that you're just going small if you fade. You're just going small if you fade away from him. So I would go, or if you play Hawkinson, you're just playing it safe. I don't like doing that. I'm going Barner. 100%. Barner has huge upside. And then Basshead, thank you for the super chat. T Law or Darnold? Who do you start? I would go T Law. Oh, T Law or Darnold? Wait, let me check the rankings really quick. I think we still have like 2 minutes left. T Law or Darnold? I have T Law 15, Darnold 16. T Law is a much better matchup, so I'd go T Law. Theo Johnson or Pitts? I would go Theo Johnson. Pitts should get more targets, but I thought that was going to be the case last week, and anyone that watched that game knew that was not the case, so that's kind of scary. So I'd go Theo Johnson, and plus, Dart loves Theo Johnson in the red zone, so that gives him a boost up my hypothetical rankings in my brain as well. So that's how I would lean with things. So I'm going to go T-Law, I'm going to go Theo Johnson, and then Egbuka or Watson. I think you just have to play Egbuka. I know that's a shitty way to say things, but for me, I like Christian Watson a lot. Like Christian Watson's in a lot of my DFS lineups today, so I'm obviously rooting for Christian Watson to succeed, but it's also not impossible that Baker plays. And also, Teddy Bridgewater is smart enough to realize, hey, let me just throw the fucking ball to Egbuka 20 times. Will it work? Who knows? But he's smart enough to do that. And his floor is at least high enough. So I would go personally, if it's my team, I'm going with T Law. We're going Theo Johnson. We're going to Egbuka. Nicholas, thank you for the super chat. We got to go quick. What's up, Nick? What's up, man? Love, Purdy, or Lawrence? Great question. I would go with Love, Purdy, or Lawrence. I'm going Lawrence. Love just feels like a super safe play. We haven't really seen a big upside out of Love recently. Maybe this is the game, but I Love just doesn't need to do great for the team to win. So I would prefer to stay away from Love. I'm going T-Law. And then Adam Worthy or Jaden Higgins. Happy Thanksgiving. I would go Jaden Higgins. Again, maybe this is the game where everyone's now off of Worthy, right? Everyone's fucking full fading Worthy. And Worthy goes out there, puts belt to ass, always possible. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend that it is impossible for that to happen. But to me, I would much, much, much prefer Jaden Higgins. Happy Thanksgiving, guys, and root for Josh Jacobs and Bryce. I got you, man. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I really appreciate everyone taking the time out of their day on a holiday to watch me stream. It means the world to me. So I appreciate you guys so much. I hope you guys all have a great Thanksgiving. Thank you so much. I'm going to answer a few more questions here before we get out of here. I'm just trying to put this other lineup in, and then I'm going to spam answer a bunch of questions. Thank you guys so much. As long as no one else super chatted. Okay, we got 67 super chats. 67. Sorry, I'm a child. Thank you guys for all super chats. Thank you guys for the regular questions. I appreciate you guys all. All right, I got my last lineup in. Now we're going to spam answer questions. Get this fucking bot out of here. Get out of here. Bowers or Diggs? Bowers. Do we trust QJ this week? I don't trust him, but it's fine playing him. Good luck to everyone. Good luck. Sutton or Pittman? I would go with Pittman. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving, Rachel. Shaw. Desperation. C-Rod, Tootin, Tucker, B-Rob. I would go C-Rod. Andrews or Theo Johnson? Andrews. I like Andrews way better. Kenneth Walker or Michael Pittman or Troy Franklin? I would go Michael Pittman. Have a good Thanksgiving, you too. Everyone, make sure you guys hit that like button. Thank you again, Spock, for helping out in the chat. I appreciate you. Hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving. Rest of season tight end, Kincaid, Gadsden, or Schultz. I'd rank them Gadsden, Kincaid, Schultz. We eat those W's. Facts, facts, facts. Happy Turkey Day. Need one. I'd go Rodriguez. Dowdle and Rodriguez starting. I have Neal, Stevenson, and Vidal. What do you think I should do? I would go Dowdle and Neal. So thank you guys all for stopping by today. I appreciate you. Thank you guys so much for watching. It means the world to me. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for watching the stream. I really appreciate it. Drop Monty or Bo Nix for defense. Only have Jacoby Brissett. I would drop Nix. Thank you for the super chat. Gainwell, Hampton, Hunt, Marks, and Benson. I need 2. I'm gonna go Hunt and Marks. Even if Benson plays, and even if Hampton plays, I'm gonna go Hunt and Marks. Again, I'm really worried about Hampton potentially not getting the correct workload. That's a big worry of mine. So that's the way that I would go. So that's the way I feel. So thank you guys. I appreciate you guys watching the stream. Thank you guys for the likes. Yeah, I'm definitely going to go with Marks. I would definitely go with Marks and Hunt. Again, I love Benson, but I would prefer not to play him in his first game back. It's kind of the same thing with Hampton. So Hunt and Marks to me. Thank you for the super chat. Class 8. Thank you for the super chat. Hi, I need advice. Full PPR. Thank you for the super chat. Wide receivers are JSN and Lamb. Running backs are CMC and Rico. God damn, your team is good. Imagine how good you would feel. Is Daniel Jones back? It appears so. Yeah. If you had JSN and Lamb, and you had CMC and Rico, man, I'd feel great. RJ Harvey, Devin Neal, Brian Thomas Jr., Jameson Williams, McLaurin, Mooney, or Shakir, and a tight end. Okay, I got you. Who do you flex? So first, we'll answer the tight end question. I'm going to play Juwan Johnson. Even if Waller returns, I would prefer for Waller to be on my bench first game back because I know what they're going to do. They're going to ease him in. They eased him in earlier on the season, and he scored 1 million points. But I do believe that I would start. The smart move would be to, let him percolate, see what he does before you throw him in your lineup. So I would go with Juwan Johnson. He's just very safe. Dolphins are a fine matchup for him. And then at your flex, I'm gonna go Shakir. Strictly because I think Shakir, he just has the second best matchup for wide receivers. He's a very safe bet. But this is the kind of matchup where maybe Shakir can reach that big upside of scoring like 18 fantasy points, 20 fantasy points. We've seen it before this season. It's just not a guarantee with him. So if it's my fantasy team, I'm going to go ahead and play Shakir, and I'm going to play Juwan Johnson. I think that's the smart move. If I had to rank them, I'm going to rank your flexes. I would rank them Shakir, Jamo, Harvey, Devin Neal. Then if BTJ played, it would be BTJ. Then Mooney. Then McLaurin. And a tight end if I had to rank them. All right, I'll see you later. See you later. I would go Juwan, Strange. Fucking bots are in here again. Juwan, Strange. And I would go Fannin. I lied. Juwan, Theo Johnson. Strange. Kincaid. I don't think Kincaid's going to play, though, so I'll erase Kincaid. Fannin. Okay, I typed it in the chat. Thank you for the super chat again. I really appreciate it. Is Daniel Jones back? Yes. Rate my starting team. All the fucking porn bots are in here. We're going to get out of here after I answer these next 2 questions. Your team is set correctly. It looks good. It's nice at 9. Kenneth Walker and Michael Pittman for Kittle. I'm fine doing that. Need 2 running backs and a flex. I go Michael Wilson. I'd go Harvey and Javonte. Thank you guys for watching the stream. Happy Thanksgiving. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like on the way out. See you guys tomorrow, Black Friday. When does that game start? Black Friday NFL. Starts at 3. We'll be live at like 1 or 2. Love you guys. Hope you guys have a good one. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you again, Spock. Thank you to all the mods. Appreciate you. Jacoby or Bonix this week, Jacoby. Have a good one. Say hi to your family for me. Love you guys. Peace out. And we'll play some nice music on the way out. Some nice vibes here. I wish I could play actual music, but we have to just stick with whatever they got in here. Would I go with some nice rock music? Appreciate you guys. See you later.